Phenomena. I'm your host, Mimi Dibbs. I just had pizza not too long ago, so I hope I don't have pizza on my face. But honestly, knowing me, John knows. My Jans knows. He's usually like, you got some everywhere. Anyway, this is episode 2 of the super popular and amazing show called Phenomena. This is my lovely script. I haven't read it yet. Also, I have to be careful about touching my desk because I feel like I just did something there. Earthquake. We're in California, so sorry. Anyway, so yeah, this one is what I like to call a collabisode because it was written in tandem by Ruben Hano and their amazing husband, Christopher Smith. Super pumped. Heard that they had a lot of fun writing this, and they also both expressed that hopefully it sounds like they're both, reading or talking to me reading their voice. Anyway, this episode is about the dancing plague of... I'm hearing things in my house. The dancing plague of 1518. I think it was 1519. Honestly, I don't remember. Let's learn together, shall we? This episode is called Evacuate the Dance Floor. Oh, evacuate the dance floor. Literally, Lady Gaga, if you see this... No. We all have that one song that you can't resist shaking a little ass to. But what happens when the music never stops? When the rhythm truly gets you and you can't escape its grip? In this episode, we're diving into one of history's most bizarre and mysterious cases of mass hysteria. That's what it was called, mass hysteria. Because I remember I was kind of looking into this. I didn't want to fall into the rabbit hole until this episode, obviously. I really wanted to look up more about it, but I was like, nope, gotta save it. I have to be surprised. So I'm literally learning about this at the same time as you guys. It's like a library act. But yes, mass hysteria. It literally is didn't I mention it in the last episode? Whatever. Think of it like the Tide Pod Challenge. Please no. When people on TikTok were so desperate for attention that they actually ate Tide Pods? It's not exactly like that since there were no washing machines in 1518. They just ate fish fat or whatever they used. What's soap made out of? Ew, I don't even want to. No washing machines 1518, but humans can catch an idea just as easily as a plague. Oh my God, I just watched Nosferatu. And Nosferatu apparently means the bringer of plague. Because his name is Count Orlok, so I was like, what's his name? Is his name not Nosferatu? It's not. Nosferatu is the legend name or the lore of the German Dracula. And it literally means bringer of plague. So anyway, plague. So put on your dancing suit. Speak words. So put on your dancing shoes because we're about to step ball change. Ooh, take me back to freaking dance class. Step ball change into a tale about a quiet town that turned into a nonstop deadly dance floor. Evacuate. The lore, i.e. claims. Picture this. It's the summer of 1518 in Strasbourg, Germany. Also, I was just talking about Germany. Hi, clairvoyant. A charming little town nestled in what's now France. Little town. It's a quiet village, every day like the day before. Ooh, spooky. Until one day, without warning, a woman named Frau Troffea. Where does this take place? I can't tell. Frau Troffea. Frau Troffea. Oh, I can't, whatever. Steps out into the street and starts dancing like the rent was due. Hell yeah. Oh, she started it? Interestingly enough, we don't know if Frau ever even paid rent because less is known about her than Luigi Mangione. Tell me about it. We don't know of her age, who she voted for, or if she was actually... Did they have it back then? Or if she was actually the first person to have a black summer. What we can infer is that she's just an ordinary medieval woman. Nice. Hell yeah. Honestly, let's just be basic this year. I love it. No extraordinary anything. Just take me back to 2016 when everything was basic. 1 minute she was grinding. Ooh, I was like, did I read that right? Oh, yeah, I did. 1 minute she was grinding butter and gossiping at the bakery. Maybe churning butter, whatever. At the bakery, and the next she was the town's dancing queen, starting a craze that spread like wildfire. And let's be clear, this wasn't graceful dancing. Authorities described it more like frenzied and aggressive, like Fight Club, rather than the dance of the Sugar Plum Fairy from the Nutcracker. Okay, so she did not know how to step ball change is what you're telling me. But no, that's almost kind of scary. I mean, it is. When you think about it, a dancing plague is, it's funny on the surface, but then you're like, if I couldn't stop, that's terrifying. Rest is something we take for granted because if you can't rest and whatever. Okay, let's find out what happens because I'm scared. Soon between 50 and 400, that's a big old range we got there. 50 to 400, yeah, in the ballpark of 50 to 400. People joined in, dancing uncontrollably for days, collapsing from exhaustion, injuries, and even dying from strokes, heart attacks, or dehydration. Yeah, dude. The town thought bringing in musicians would help people dance it out. Spoiler alert, it didn't. Ooh. The music only fueled the chaos, and eventually the religious authorities banned music altogether to stifle the disease. Religious authorities literally dampening the fun. Classic religious authorities. Like, all right, party's over. You kids know how you're getting home? Why are you still dancing, huh? Let's pause to draw a parallel to Buffy the Vampire Slayer's musical episode. She has a musical episode? Once more with feeling, which, let's be honest, everyone should see. Well, there you go. This is your sign. In this episode, the group idiot, Xander, unwittingly summons Sweet, a demon whose presence forces the entire city to burst into song and dance and work through all of their emotional baggage. Ooh, I love that it actually had, a purpose. A little, therapeutic dancing. Initially fun, it turns quickly dangerous. Those afflicted can't solve their trauma with a kickball change. They combust. Oh, no, wait, this is exactly like this. Even Buffy, who died in the previous, I wonder if they took it from the dancing plague of 1518, because I could totally see Buffy the Vampire Slayer using some lore. They definitely had lore, that show in Supernatural. Come on, what better place to draw from than the history of humans? They're crazy. They're crazy. Crazy species. Even Buffy, who died in the previous season, she died? The previous season and lied to her friends about being saved from hell when in reality they ripped her from heaven, can't escape. Forced to reveal her traumatic truth through Sweet's musical therapy, she's overwhelmed and nearly dances herself into a fiery doom. But worry not, as always, she wins in the end. Yay! Oh, that reminds me of Sabrina the Teenage Witch. Is it kind of do they have similarities? I don't know. It's the 90s Sabrina the Teenage Witch. I guess Buffy was a 90s show. Anyway, this isn't exactly what happened to Frau. Now I'm going to keep pronouncing her name differently. Frau. Rebrows. Frau. In 1518, since no one burst into flames, no one was singing that we know of. Oh, nobody even sang? And from what we can tell, Frau wasn't the Slayer, but Buffy's version of events isn't far from what the church thought was happening. More on that later. Ooh. Eventually, the town had to evacuate the dance floor. And 2 months after Frau first started the flash mob, is she still going 2 months? The outbreak dwindled until it was no more. Whether it was simply too tiring to continue the bit, the church's intervention worked, or Buffy did what needed to be done, the dancing stopped. While there's plenty of mystery around why it stopped, there's even more mystery behind how it started. Oh yeah, I was wondering if they died dancing, or that's what I thought happened, but I guess it just kind of dwindled out. I mean, it is a phenomenon. It's just unexplained, dancing, which I guess isn't harmful. Flash mobs. Oh my God. The first flash mob. Makes sense. Our final section, the theories. At this point, we want to talk about what may have caused this provincial town to cast themselves in the Tony Award-winning adaptation of their lives. Obviously. Oh, the next sentence starts with obviously. I am clairvoyant. Obviously, we don't know for sure, but modern science and context can help some people to infer what happened. As such, we now present to you the holy trinity of reasons the provincial town of Strasbourg cast themselves in the Tony Award-winning adaptation of their lives. And scene. I love that. Okay, drugs. Drugs and it's the same, but the government is involved, so it's not. Drugs and it's the church, but it's also drugs. So honestly, saying drugs outright might be a stretch here, but Charlie XCX Brat reference was right there. In truth, there may have been some hallucinogens involved. They had hallucinogens. I could see her just cutting up a mushroom and being like, honey, I'm making I don't know where she is from, so I'm just guessing. Honey, I'm making mushroom stew. This is very good. And then an hour later, she's like, I met God. But I guess she just took it out with dancing. You see, something that the town didn't know then that modern science has revealed more recently is that their grain supply may have been affected by ergot. Ergot is a fungus, called it, that can introduce alkaloids into the body. These alkaloids can sometimes, science lesson, women in STEM. These alkaloids can sometimes trigger similar hallucinatory effects as LSD. Ergot, according to our research, is just something you can grow when it's warm and damp, which in the summer of 1518 it was. Ye old France wasn't like today. Did we say it was in France? Am I just dense? There wasn't a lot of diversity when it comes to people getting their food. If your bread looked and tasted a little sus, you couldn't just go somewhere else to buy it. If Frau was getting faded off the bread, were others also high or simply wanting to join in on the fun? Was she just the first in town to get turnt on toast? Oh my God, 2025, the year to get turnt on toast. Did those that danced it out just ride the wave until the croissant? Crack plus croissant was out of their system. Ooh, croissant. I love that. Another theory is that it is drugs, as described before, but the government knew about it and did nothing to stop it. Classic government. Some speculate that the authorities at the time saw the plague as a golden opportunity to secretly test out some panic control measures. Others believe, this is like getting into conspiracy, and I love this part. I love this part of lore and phenomena. Test out some panic control measures. Others believe the authorities saw the outbreak as a chance to investigate plants with potential mind control properties. The rumor isn't that the government poisoned anyone, just that they saw what was happening and sat back to see what the peanuts would do in a crisis, or see if they could use something to control people. Classic government. They're trying to mind control people again? Stop. It's not even like that fun in there. It's just internal screaming all the time. Like a social experiment that ended in death. Nice. While this is definitely neglectful, it doesn't say the government did it. It does feel a little MK Ultra to us, but of course the idea that any trustworthy government would ever dabble in anything shady is just so out of the question, right? Say right. The final theory is about the church and their involvement. Oh, I mean, come on. They're gonna get in on the tea. They need to stay relevant. Around this time, the Catholic Church was facing a PR crisis. When aren't they facing a PR crisis? Due to corruption and waning faith. When aren't they facing a PR crisis due to corruption and waning faith? Just then, people started dancing and no one had any information on how to stop it. That's when the church entered the group chat. Ooh, CC, Catholic Church. Where you at? In medieval Europe, mass hysteria like this was sometimes seen as a form of divine punishment or an act of witchcraft. I could see that. Although it's not that far from like when people gather in churches and then they're like, I'm speaking in tongues. And it's like, what's the difference between that and dancing? I would say dancing's less creepy, if we're being honest. The church, seeing an opportunity to gain back its followers, might have been spreading the perspective that the dancing was the work of demons or as evidence of possession. Some believe that certain mystic forces or dancing plagues were sent by saints or other supernatural beings, either to punish the people or in rare cases to cleanse them of sin. In this light, the church went from not to hot and received a major win. Was the church simply the most qualified party to combat the phenomena similar to Buffy's musical demon, or was their involvement just a great PR stunt to improve their reputation and bring more minds and money back to the holy word? Honestly, wouldn't be their first time. Let's be real. Closing. I hate to say it, but we really don't know what the truth is. I mean, this one was just kind of like a fun little add-on. I mean, I figured it will, like, I don't know how much more happened besides there was a dancing plague and people danced, and then I thought they died, but they didn't. So I guess that's good, maybe. Why am I disappointed people didn't die? What does that say about me? Too much true crime. I hate to say it, but we really don't know what the truth is, which honestly is to be expected since these are phenomena. Hello. Full circle. Ultimately, whether it was drugs, a government ploy, or a divine rebranding effort, the dancing plague still leaves us wondering, can we have some of whatever Frau was on? Girl. Sharing is caring. What did they, like, can you point me in the direction of these magical dancing shrooms? Because just curious. It's for science. It's for science. I'm a scientist. I'm a woman in STEM, okay? How many times in every episode can I mention woman in STEM? Let's find out. Anyway, that is our episode. Short and sweet. I love it. I definitely learned something about the dancing plague. I loved the way the script was written. Thank you again, Ruben and Christopher. You guys are amazing. I love you so much. And stay tuned for next week. I love how some of these... Oh my God, sorry. I didn't mean to hurt you. I love how some of these episodes are like more like super in-depth phenomena, and then some are just like more like fun. You know what I mean? You gotta like best of both worlds. You know what I'm saying? You gotta do a little bit of both. Get you a girl that could do both. Yeah, I'm both. Okay, anyway, oh my God, I think we actually finally have an ending saying. Jacob came up with this. Thank you so much, Jacob, friend of the pod. And he also commented on the last episode. Have fun exploring, no, sorry, I already messed it up. It's, remember, you can explore a rabbit hole without falling all the way down. I love it. That's perfect. Brand it, copyright it, put it on a t-shirt. I love it. Anyway, thank you so much, guys. Love you so much. Bye.